A killer lurks in the shadows. As Susan Facet leaves her weekly choir practice, she is mercilessly gunned down. The killer is someone she knows, Dawn Silvernail. Dawn is arrested a few months after the murder and confesses all, but she didn't act alone. She was killing under the order of a corrupt town official who called in a debt. What makes a woman fall under the spell of a dangerous man? Now, 12 years later, from her prison cell in New York State, Dawn is going to tell me how the lives of two women were ruined because they could not stand up to one evil man. I'm Candice DeLong. As an FBI agent, I worked on the front line for the world's most powerful law enforcement agency. I went undercover, I trailed terrorists, and I interviewed notorious killers. It's my job to understand the people who others cannot comprehend. October 28th, 1999, Pleasant Valley, upstate New York. Susan Facet is about to drive home after choir practice when a hail of bullets fly through the air. One severs her carotid arteries. Others enter her body as she desperately tries to escape from the car. The killer empties the magazine, then drives off into the night. Dawn Silvernail stops a few miles away and makes a call to the city's water commissioner, Fred Andros, telling him the job is done. It's over. Dawn's debt to Fred is paid. As I drive to meet Dawn, I can't help but wonder, how would her life have turned out if she had never met Fred Andros? She now lives here at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, New York, serving 18 years to life for first-degree murder. It's an undeniable fact that Dawn killed Susan, but does she have the heart of a killer? And is she willing to accept blame for the life she has taken? Or will she blame her co-defendant, Fred Andros? There's only one way to find out. Our program is called Facing Evil. And you've done that in your life. You've faced evil. What evil did you face?
My evil was my co-defendant, Fred Andros.
Fred Andros.
He turned out to be extremely manipulative. When I first met Fred, my sister tried to warn me to stay away from him. And for whatever reason, I didn't listen.
Dawn marries early in her 20s and has one son. She's married for just 2 years when she meets Fred Andros. He holds a position of power, and she is drawn to him.
He was very amicable. He was very friendly. He was just
a normal guy.
Oh, yeah. He was a generous person. You know, he was the kind of man who bought presents.
Yeah, I did, but there's something wrong with this.
Dawn and Fred soon embark on an affair.
Fred called me one day and he said he was attracted to me.
What did you think of that?
Well, it was at the point where I was beginning to become disillusioned with my own marriage.
With your marriage.
And I think maybe he realized from things I had spoken about that this was the time to strike, because he could tune in on things like that.
Right?
Interesting that Fred had the ability to develop this type of connection with women. Perhaps it's all part of his master plan. You're married and you're in a relationship with another married man. That kind of relationship is just fraught with danger, but it can also be exciting. What was it like for you?
It was exciting in my otherwise dull life.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's part of the draw.
Dawn has an exciting secret affair with Fred, but there is something else he can offer.
My husband and I were not wealthy. I was working as a secretary in the elementary school, and we had money problems just like anybody else. And Fred, you know, he was well off, and he had whatever he needed whenever he wanted it, and he was never afraid to share.
Over 20 years of their secret relationship, Fred loans Dawn money whenever she needs it.
There was an occasion where I started to get behind in some of our bills, and he said that he could help me out. So I took it to be that it was not a loan, but a gift, and that was my mistake, because I was not looking the gift horse in the mouth, and I should have been.
Fred is not only keeping tabs on the money he gives Dawn, he is charging interest.
When everything broke loose in the end, it was roughly around $15,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I never could have come up with it. And he knew that. He knew that.
Coming up, Dawn has to work off her debt in the world's oldest profession.
He wanted to know if I would be interested in becoming the third of the threesome.
For the last 20 years, Dawn Silvernail had an on-again, off-again affair with Fred Andros. Now in her 50s, married with a child, Dawn owes Fred thousands of dollars and seems almost under his spell. Fred Andros is the water commissioner for the town of Poughkeepsie. He abuses his position of power to squeeze money out of contractors. If they don't pay up, they don't get their water license. Soon, Fred has Dawn working for him as a way of paying off her debt.
Didn't he use you as, if you'll pardon the term, his bagman?
He would call me and he would say, I need you to do something for me on a specific day. He gave me an envelope, or sometimes it would be a box, and he told me to take whatever it was, put it on the passenger seat of my car and go to this restaurant and park the car and go in and leave the door unlocked.
And what did you think of that?
I knew he was using me to do something I probably shouldn't have been doing, but I felt like I owed him.
Fred's power over Dawn doesn't happen overnight. It happens over years. But once he corrupts her, she is his to do anything he wants her to do. Fred has other ways in mind for Dawn to pay off her debt. He makes her perform sexual favors for a price.
On a couple of occasions, there were other people involved as well, some of his workmen.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
A little uncomfortable,
What, you felt like you couldn't say no?
pretty much.
What do you think would have happened if you said, you're joking, Fred, I'm not sleeping with your friends?
I was afraid that he would get on the phone and call my home and let the cat out of the bag about what had been going on, and then my life would have been devastatedly ruined.
Dawn isn't the only woman that Fred has under his spell. He's also having an affair with mother of two, Susan Facet, a policeman's wife. They have been seeing each other for 4 years. Fred insists his two lovers meet.
When I met her, actually she was very nice. He wanted to know if I would be interested in becoming the third of the threesome.
He tells you that this woman that he's seeing has a fantasy that she wants a threesome and she wants it with another woman. Okay.
I don't think the fantasy was hers. I think the fantasy was his.
Sounds like Fred is getting his thrills in private, but in public, he is living on borrowed time. He is at the center of a federal inquiry into corruption of the town's government, and the FBI are closing in.
Tell me about when you found out about Fred's legal problems with the federal government.
My sister told me that he had been involved with some illegal activities, with a couple other gentlemen.
With the federal investigation looming, everyone is on edge. Susan decides to distance herself. She wants to get back with her husband and try to work things out. But Fred isn't happy.
He knew that Susan knew of things that he had done that he had never told the FBI people. And now he was afraid that she was going to talk to the FBI people and tell them of the other bad things that he had done, and he was going to be looking at going to prison. He was crying physical tears when he told me that she was going to put him in prison.
Fred wants Susan dead, and he wants Dawn to kill her. When we return, the making of a murderer.
How did you decide by what method you were going to do it?
Well, I only knew one way, and that was with a gun.
For 20 years, Dawn Silvernail has a secret lover and financier, Fred Andros. Now, he wants payback. Fred wants Dawn to be his assassin. The target is Susan Facet, Fred's ex-lover and Dawn's former sex partner.
At what point did he ask you to kill Susan?
He said that he couldn't find anybody to take care of his problem, and he wanted to know if
That's how we always referred to it?
The problem.
Taking care of the problem.
She was the problem.
Okay.
And I told him that I couldn't do anything like that. And he said, well, I suggest you think about it. He said, because if you don't take care of the problem, I'll have somebody take care of one of your problems.
Wow.
Fred asks Dawn to come and meet him. When she gets there, he has a shocking surprise.
He had photographs spread out on his dining room table. The photographs were of my family members. And he proceeded to walk around the table and point to the pictures and say, gee, that's your son. He's standing out on the back dock of the plant where he works. It'd be awful if he was a victim of a drive-by at nighttime. Nobody'd ever know he wasn't coming back in. I was shocked beyond even being able to speak, because I just had these visions of all these things happening to my family.
Fred is using every trick in the book to blackmail Dawn into killing Susan.
Did you ever think of going to the police and telling them and getting their protection?
No.
Why not?
Because I figured if as soon as I did that, something would happen to one of my family members.
You really believed that?
I really believed it.
On the night of Thursday, October 28th, 1999, Dawn drives to the Pleasant Valley Methodist Church and parks next to Susan's car.
And what was this, around 8:30 at night?
Around there.
In October, it must have been completely dark.
Yes.
Okay.
And cold. Kind of like laying in a grave.
Susan comes out, and tell me what happened.
She got in her car. She shut the door. And she reached up to fasten the seatbelt. And when she did that, I sat up and pointed the weapon at her. I shot the first two, and she reacted. She made a noise, a sound, and she tried to open the door as if she were trying to escape.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was back there for a minute.
When we return, the final terrifying moments of Susan Facet's life and Dawn's strange request.
I wanted him to ask New York State to give me the death penalty.
You thought it was only fair that you give your life?
Dawn Silvernail has been lying in wait outside a church on a cold October night. She has just shot Susan Facet twice, and now she needs to make sure she's dead.
I shot through the window glass. 2 shots. And a hesitation. And then the other 4 till the gun stopped firing.
It is a cold-blooded execution, but even 6 shots don't kill Susan instantly. She dies 2 hours later in the hospital. Dawn manages to avoid police attention for months, but Fred is an immediate suspect because he was intimately involved with Susan. After months of interrogation, Fred finally caves in and names Dawn as the shooter.
The investigators got on to you because Fred led them in that direction.
Fred didn't lead them in my direction. Fred threw me to the wolves. He flat out told them.
Dawn and her husband are taken in for questioning. Dawn's husband has no idea about Dawn's secret life and suddenly finds himself in the middle of a murder investigation.
He came in the interrogation room and he sat down in the chair and he looked at me and he said, "Woman, I don't know what you did or if you did it, but if you did it, you gotta tell them."
And that was it?
That was it.
You must love him quite a bit.
Yeah. It's one of the things I miss the most.
Do you get to see him much?
Never. He's just part of the collateral damage. People commit crimes like this, they don't think far enough ahead.
Dawn tells police everything. She pulled the trigger, but it was Fred Andros who put the gun in her hand. I've seen it in many murderers. Once they confess, there is an amazing sense of relief.
Even though I bore the weight of the guilt of committing the crime, I knew the person that was really behind it was gonna maybe get a chance to be called to bear and have to pay for it.
But Fred Andros doesn't want to pay for it. When police come to arrest him, Fred attempts suicide by shooting himself in the head. But this bullet doesn't kill. Fred ends up in intensive care where he is indicted for second-degree murder. Fred is found guilty and sentenced to 25 years. 2 years into his sentence, he dies of a heart attack. Dawn pleads guilty, and during sentencing, she has an unusual request for her lawyer.
I looked him in his face and I told him that I wanted him to ask New York State to give me the death penalty because I had taken another human being's life and that it was only fair that they take mine in return. And he looked at me and he said, "I can't do that because in New York State they don't give the death penalty and they especially don't give it to women." And I told him that wasn't fair.
Your sentence is 18 years to life. Do you think that was fair?
I'm not convinced it was enough, but I do the best I can every day I'm in here. I live in a little concrete block cell that's got a single bed and a couple of lockers and a place to hang my clothes, and it's designed for one person to live there, and in my case, 2 people live in there. I live there, and Susan lives there with me. I live with her every day.
I want you to imagine that I'm Susan Facet. What would you like to say to me?
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I took your life. I'm sorry that I hurt your children. I'm sorry that I hurt your husband and your mother and your sisters. And if I could put the bullets back in the gun and undo what I did, I would do it gladly. Please forgive me.
There is no doubt in my mind that Fred manipulated Dawn into committing this murder. She has some advice to share, advice Dawn wishes she had taken herself.
If you find yourself in a situation where you meet a new person that you think is all that, and you have a friend or a loved one or someone really, really close to you that you really know cares about you, that comes to you and says, they're not very nice, they're really bad, run. Don't walk to the nearest door and get away from that person. Listen to the people who love you that could save you from being me.
Dawn is one of the most forthcoming murderers I've ever interviewed. For the past 12 years, she has taken full responsibility for what she did. Dawn is an intelligent woman, but she allowed herself to be manipulated by Fred Andros, and it ruined several lives.
Take care of yourself. You too.
She seems truly remorseful for her crime, and it is something she will struggle with until the day she dies.